Wallace Hartley and his orchestra. Early morning, April 15, 1912. On her maiden voyage from Southampton to New York City, White Star liner Titanic struck an iceberg and sank to the murky depths of the North Atlantic Ocean, taking with her the lives of over 1,500 passengers and crew. Among these were the members of the ship's orchestra, including 33-year-old violinist and bandmaster Wallace Hartley and cellist Roger Marie Bricot, the youngest member at just 20 years of age. Hartley's orchestra of 8 musicians was divided in two, a quintet and a trio. All band members were accommodated on the Titanic as second-class passengers. The musicians were contracted by Liverpool talent agency CW and FN Black, whom were responsible for placing musicians on almost all British ocean liners at the time. Prior to 1912, the agency paid each of its musicians the amount of £6, 10 shillings a month, equal to 1,000 Australian dollars in 2020, plus a monthly uniform allowance equal to around $60. At the time of the disaster, however, this had been reduced to the equivalent of just $613 per month, with no uniform allowance. So, Hartley's orchestra, having had their pay cut by almost 40%, were contracted to play up to 3 times a day aboard the world's largest ocean liner to some of the world's richest people and treated like second-class citizens. Some habits are hard to break. Despite all this, the orchestra performed their contracted duties for the 4 days of the voyage before Titanic struck an iceberg and began rapidly sinking in the freezing North Atlantic waters. As the panicked evacuation ensued, Wallace Hartley led his quintet in one final performance, in an attempt to maintain a sense of calm and normality among the terrified passengers. Crew members scurried to help women and children clamber aboard the few inadequate lifeboats, as they raced against time to save as many souls as possible, before, after only 2 hours and 40 minutes, Titanic succumbed to the abyss. And all the while, amongst the panic and confusion, Wallace Hartley's band played on. There remains some dispute over the last song played by Hartley's quintet. However, the truth about the orchestra's swan song may forever remain a mystery, as the band's iPads have never been recovered. As one final insult to the musicians who perished on board the ill-fated ship, the father of 21-year-old violinist John Law Hume received, on the 30th of April 1912, just 15 days after the untimely death of his son, a letter from talent agency CW and FN Black, demanding the sum of 5 shillings and 4 pence to settle the deceased musician's outstanding uniform bill, which he had been unable to pay due to his fees being cut and his monthly uniform allowance being revoked just prior to embarking on Titanic's maiden voyage. Of all 2,224 passengers and crew on board the Titanic, the disaster claimed the lives of 2% of her children, 5% of her women, 61% of her men, and 100% of her musicians. As the ship went down, the band played on.